This video is a reflection on my under 7's football training session when I did passing and movement as my main objective. So the session that I did, the aims for the session were to work on the fundamentals, the ABCs, and looking at trying to progress the under 7's team that I've been working with to progress their passing and their movement during games and in training sessions. So to start off with, the start-off game that I used was Domes and Dishes. I used this as I believe this is the perfect opportunity to work on ABCs, as the game involves agility, balance and coordination. This activity was going to be split up into two groups and using teams to progress it in different manners, using different techniques and different ways. The main activity was going to be pass and move, so 4 boxes, 1 in each corner, 2 teams passing between themselves, trying to get it into the boxes to teammates and then back out. Every time they could complete a pass in every box, they would gain a point. And then finally going into a match to try and find out whether they'd taken any of the passing, any of the movement skills into a game situation. The session plan for this session will be uploaded with this video. The session itself, unfortunately only 4 participants turned up due to other children with illness and other commitments. So I had to adapt the session to tailor it for the 4 children that were around. The activities I've used were using a games-based approach, so I still kept the Domes and Dishes as the starter activity. We started, instead of doing 1 at a time, running to and from to turn over the cones, they were split off into 2 groups of 2, and they all went at the same time, so working in pairs, working in teams to try and turn over as many domes, as many dishes in a minute that they could. I progressed this activity to work on more balance and coordination by progressing it so that they had to hop while doing this. Few of the children struggled with the balance, so we worked on a few different techniques to see if they could find it easier, and we practiced bending down while they were on 1 foot and moving on to there, and we progressed it from there. The next progression I used in this game was to progress it using a football at the feet. I did this as many coaches sometimes don't use balls in the warm-ups. I think the earlier you can get a ball at the feet, get them used to little touches, the better. So now adding a little bit of a challenge, they had to dribble around with the ball and also turn over the Domes and Dishes while keeping that ball nice and close. Some of the time the balls did go all over the place, but at this age I believe they should be able to have trial and error and be able to practice. So we talked about techniques, a little toe, big toe, and keeping that ball nice and close using different parts of the foot. In the main activity, I kept the same activity, again using a games-based approach. This time, due to there only being 4, the squares were empty. We used 3 in the middle as 3 attackers and 1 defender. So the 3 attackers were passing the ball around and the 1 defender was trying to tackle them. The attacker's job was to pass it around, and then one of them would go in a box and try and feed the ball into the box and then pass it back out. Once again, if they managed to do this, they would gain a point, and we rotated the players and the teams and stuff like that. I progressed to doing 2v2, so there was 2 defenders and 2 that, and I'd also progress it a little bit further if I had a bigger selection of players so that the defender had a ball at the feet as well. We just didn't really have time in the session to be able to do that. One of the things I did find in that drill was that sometimes the players were playing long balls and long passes and trying to play a pass the length of the field instead of trying to play it to the easiest pass. So one of the coaching points I brought up was getting your head up and looking around and making sure we were trying to find the easiest pass to try and keep possession. Once this was talked about and I gave the opportunity for them to come to the conclusion themselves, Then we found that they were starting to lift their head a little bit more and start to spread passes and start to move the ball a little bit easier. Through this drill as well, one thing that I have found is that the ball control of the children needs to be worked on a little bit. So short passing and control will be something that I'll be looking on, and maybe looking to block practice and further on in the practice and training sessions. During the game, we played 5v5, so we had the other under 7's team come across, and we played 5v5, so the 4 from my session and 1 from their session came on the same team. This meant that we could play 5v5, and the players on my team could carry on playing the way they wanted to, and the way we've been practicing through the session. Once again, I explained I was looking for passing, looking for movement, and try and find as many passes as possible. One of the players that tend to keep the ball quite often doesn't like to pass it, likes to dribble with the ball and keep it, like a lot of players do at this age. I gave him an individual challenge of trying to make 10 passes by the end of the session. He relished this little bit of an opportunity. He likes to be challenged, and he strove ahead and was doing very well, and he completed his task. This gave him a little bit more confidence, and you could see once he'd completed that challenge, he was still trying to make passes, which was very pleasing. So there was a lot of positives from this session. A few things that I'd like to work on is short passing and the control. That's from a technical point of view. I believe that this can be done through block practice and through other coaching styles and methods. So this will be something that I'll be looking to do in my next few sessions with them. Also, from a social standpoint, there was a bit of distraction for some of the players. There was also a lot of talking. So this is something that I'm going to look at working on as a coach, and trying to keep their attention, try and keep them engaged for the full session, and not try and lose as much focus and let them be distracted as much. The session went really well. I will be looking to continue the theme of passing into a few more sessions in the next coming week, and hopefully the objectives and my overall aim of gaining a better passing team and a better movement on and off the ball will be gained, and I'll use this. Due to the age and the ability of the group, it will be mainly a games-based approach that I'll be using in this.